4 volts. 1 fjord. Previously, through great concentration of effort, the fjord home was completed. A house of many doors. A place for sheep and bean. All in all, that took up about 3 months of York's time. If I go and consult the old calendar here, yeah, we're at the beginning of the hay month. Or July. In fact, exactly at the start of July, we are day 1 of 2 weeks before midsummer. So Fjorg has 3 warm months in which to go about his business, enjoy his life, prepare for winter. And during which he still has some opportunity to put a few other plants in the ground. He'd like to attempt further gardening. He can plant more bean during this first week. He could attempt turnip until the final week. And in the first half of the month, he could try to put down yarrow, nettle, or sorrel. So it could be of interest. Among Jorg's highest objectives before winter is to find a new shirt. Shirts, gloves, additional pants and hats. By winter, you would like to have as much of your body at green insulation as possible. If you can get some of that by putting the overcoat back on. But for the most part, he really needs to find fur, leather, maybe wool. Fine fjord. The fjord has many of the tools necessary to pursue such ambitions, since now he also has freed up all of the energy that he was spending building the cabin. Instead, do other things on his daily schedule. He's no longer hard-pressed to process, like, dozens of trees each week. You can try anything else. So for some of our immediate comforts, I'm thinking I want to fence off a larger portion of this area. The immediate property, the old Casafjord here. What birch bark is this? I need to just quickly throw together... Actually cannot make a bark shirt. Those exist. Oh well. Fence off a slightly larger area. Potentially rig it up as well to be like a trap fence. The occasional pit you can see is large animals. I want to get a lot more snares. I think that's the main thing Fjorg is going to do in order to pursue wealth and material prosperity. He has to do more trapping. He's going to have plenty of opportunity to get a bunch of plant material by just harvesting wild stuff in a bit. So you just hop over to the old Farm and Almanac on the wiki. The harvest season for most things is in August. appropriately called the harvest month. So that's when we're gonna spend a lot of time heading out into the fields and just scavenging wild plants to bring in and thresh and then put to work for our own purposes in the fields in the future. Ah, a bird. Good start to a day. I'm also considering whether these feathers have much value on their own as a trade good. I could just take a bag of feathers and use those to pay for something, rather than needing to work them into an object. Also, a lot of meat on that bird. Or Fjorg is getting better at processing bird meat. Actually going to use one of those meat as our sacrifice. Because we have plenty of food going about. And from my other test files, further consideration is that for any more elaborate crafting process that involves many steps, ensuring a quality end product involves a lot of diligence that you want to start early on. Like, Fjorg is mostly getting bad leather because he's bad at leather work right now. He doesn't know much about skin. So there's just a low baseline of quality starting from the skinning. But throughout the tanning process, any quality he might have been able to extract probably getting sabotaged by using like this terrible quality bark as our tanning agent. Whereas if we say use the very same fat from the animal, which has neutral quality, we improve our odds that little bit. Another step of the tanning process, well, the pre-tanning process, really, that it'd look up and confirm that using any non-bludgeoning damage on an animal does impact the quality of the skin that you will get off of them. The usual process I'd fallen into to save time was to bludgeon the animal until it fell unconscious and then just give it a quick, clean cut as a finishing blow. However, if I care about the skin, preferable to just keep bashing it until the work is done. That distraction out of the way. I would like to build more fence. Need to decide how much fence. Judge that a little. Let me just... So our line of vision is pretty extensive. Fjord can see a good ways as long as nothing is in his path. So just for convenience, I'd like to be able to just quickly, as part of the daily routine, survey the entire property. I want to put fence around there. Around, like, where that rock is. Let's tear down this old legacy fence. Put it just beyond this rock. And with all his experience in construction, mere fence assembly is no real task for Fjord. And all these small tree that I left behind while getting material for the building will fuel plenty of fence making.
Your gold is always welcome here.
Weak of lung, strong of heart. A fine lad, or Fjord. And if I also act within this opening week, I could plant further bean. Think that is also on the things to do. Yeah, we'll devote time to that today. And so let's see, going out in the other direction. Hey, these trees are large. Full-size alder trees. Probably... we could fence in a lot of tree for now. Or settle for nearby fence. I just want to think about... wherever I decide to plant, I want to then secure against pests.
Tulen sulta sulkemaan panun päätä painamaan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille pallaan ehille tulen tuiki polttamille panun ehkipastamille.
I think however the property shakes out, that tree can be a permanent home for sheep. It's a fine tree. I'm gonna move the fencing around it to encompass more area.
Tulen sulta sulkemaan panun päätä painamaan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille pallaan ehille tulen tuiki polttamille panun ehkipastamille.
Small trees also practically effortless to fell those. Very easy task. Slide these over here. And then I think over here was one of the areas I was planning to garden originally anyway. Main thought here being I have those additional bean. They should get put to use. It's gonna do exactly that. By setting up some additional garden. Come on. There we go. Since I don't actually have a measure of how much bean is left in the box, prepare those 6 tiles and that will be the extent of the new field. Hopefully that will be done singeing and cooling in time to plant those bean usefully. If not, we can get together some pocket change and go buy a fistful of turnips. Put those in instead. I'm standing here on these 10 slim trunks. Make a bunch of fence posts. Attain unity with the world by staying up all night sharpening wood. Nailed it. Good job, Fjord. Yes, let's see their total, well, yeah, total count here, 8 per log, so that's 80 fence posts we just created. Well, 80 stakes. An additional 13 tiles of fence and some change. Oh wait, the skin. Good, save it. Take a well-earned rest. Grab our terrible metal shovel. But the day rises and there's more work to do. That's about as much ground as Fjord can manage to till anyway, so... That is as fine a place as any to draw the line. Yes, that is above and beyond Fjord's carrying capacity. And more tiles of fence up here. Use these woods as a corner piece for now. Quick 4 there. Yeah, I'll maintain this tree line for the time being. That'll be a fine border. Mostly interested in fencing in this whole flat land that I cleared. This can be put to use. Right, this is ready to go inside. Yep, we're still going to get awful ragged leather for quite a while. In time, though, Fjord will improve. Part of the whole skill system is that it is easier to gain number when you are bad at something than when you were good at something. It takes less time to go from terrible to adequate than to go from, amateur to master. well, this is made easier if I put the stakes down, rather than carrying the entire fence on Fjord's back throughout the whole process. There, a little more of that.
Tulen sulta sulkemaan panun päätä painamaan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille palaa nehille tulen tuiki poltaville panun ehtipaistamille. Kun tuimatuolesta lienet, niin tuimatuolle en mennyt lienet, hinkuhinkalosta mennyt hinkuhinkaloon, hinkuhinkalon perästä, hinkuhinkalon perään.
Yeah, that would make it time for more fishing. Still weeks to go before the smoked fish are done preserving.
Iskitulta ilman rinne päällä yktipäinen myönin kirjavalla kärmehellä kolmella kokonsolalla päällä kuun kirjokannen päällä tai vahan 9 päällä pystyy pilvedon rahin sen ninnässä.
Even once we have the lawn fenced in, sheep will be kept close to the tree for management. Once we have many sheep, I might consider making a pen and then allowing the sheep to wander freely within that controlled area. Good haul. I should put a window in this wall. I was planning to and then didn't while finishing off the house. Wouldn't cost too much time to tear down and rebuild. That's like a day's project for Fjord. Tear that down. We'd need another board from somewhere. A window here so we can monitor sheep easily. And then for southern fence, kind of eyeball it. Yeah, about where the edge of the screen is right now, down by that one large spruce there. We have plenty of small tree left behind to fuel that. Special sense also, so let me just pace out the distance we're working with here. 20 tiles from the shore to right here. That's not too much material. That's, you know, an appreciable fraction of that is already accounted for in that fence over there. And then there's more than enough young trees in the vicinity. Hey. Couldn't collect these bean. Start keeping track of exactly when I will be able to plant. Because as long as the soil has cooled sufficiently within the current week, we'll be able to get return on bean. Right, with that in mind, I'm going to grab my adequate arrows and my giant pile of feathers. Let's go to town. Completing the home means that we actually get to see that nice little house icon there. Although, wait. Right. The fish. Do something here until the rest of these roasts are done. And get those properly processed and stored. They need about an hour. We'll carve some fence posts. Now we go to town. We also have another ritual to lock in, so... Going to the farther off, but more developed town, rather than the nearby fishing village. Sage? Yeah, sage. Very good. We have explained how to request foxes. Had that explained to us. Wounded adventurer. that you? No. No, perhaps you on the ground. Attacked by wolves. We have a quest. Beyond our initial goal of looking for turnip seeds, which are surely around here somewhere. And let's see here, just dive into the menus here. Four kilometers southeast, near the border between the Spruce Mire and the Pine Mire. We must go to the land between swamps. Just a few weeks before the harvest. Many plants will be ready for processing. So it's somewhere in this vicinity. This is a spruce mire. And this is a pine mire. That sounds about right for what he described. We're looking for a shelter, wolf tracks, and blood, which should be near a spear. Yeah, here we are at the fringe between pine and spruce. Yeah, confirmation on the map that that's the case. We're in the zone. Let's see. Try to apply high-level tracking skills. Not really getting results here. Left out in the wilderness away from home. Trying a different area.
Keskitulta Ilmarin päällä ytti Väinämöinen kirjavan lakermehellä kolmella kokonsolla lapalla kuuden kirjokannen
Do hello, local spirits. Do not mind Fjord. He is new here. He has arrived to do a favor for an acquaintance. Kindly do not send wolves. Would be nice if our injured friend could have offered any more specific directions, such as the nature of quests. This may be something we just need to allow to lapse. This tile is also pine. How do things look over here? There's only so much you can do to navigate when your landmarks are various flavors of wood swamp. Bjork, do you know what this is? No. Some kind of mystery herb. Well, we tried. Oh. A new village. Well, there's a nice find. Maybe they have turnip. They do. Old man. Wise man. I would like to purchase. Is a pile of grouse feathers worth anything? No. Alright, that's why we brought the arrows. For a single... Well, in that case, let me just get back in here. How much for 2 boxes of seeds? Go for 3. Turnip is abundant here. Done. What a deal. Savings. That's a lot of fur. How far off am I from affording like a whole elk skin? Half. Alright, so I could afford probably the skin of a smaller animal, if they have any laying around. What else have you got? I may as well see how far off I am from this as well. A good start, yet nowhere near that. These seeds, though, definitely worth wandering out this far. Homeward bound. Hmm. Like most living things, it is much faster than Fjord. On future wilderness outings, we will carry the bow. We could attempt to actually fell things. There's hope.
Beep.
Okay, time for planting. You can place many seeds in an individual tile. So let me also, yeah, the bean. Weird that you can't do this as like a batch. Okay, we've planted all of bean. Plus, we could plant the fish if we really wanted to, apparently. Or probably it's just bringing up the entire food category. Can we plant fish? No. So as long as the seeds themselves don't rot, we have supply for quite a while of farming experiments. And we'll want to set things up to secure that as well. Against future pests. Make more snares. I'll back to fencing. Tomorrow, back to fencing. Work up a powerful hunger, but get a lot done. That's a good Fjorgen morning. Okay, north fence complete. Squirrel's just chilling out there, having a good time. Actually, let's draw west fence. Out here, this line. Right here by this bit of hill. On your way, squirrel. Yeah, this is all nice and solid and will serve as a corner. Just need to plug up over there and over there. Alright, these are ready to go. Let's make some cord. Material-wise, it's very inexpensive. Very time-consuming, though. Very pass out and, you know, regain consciousness deep into the night sort of job. Oh, got a bird. And I'll reset these snares closer to the field. Since their purpose is to guard these against pests. And I might even have enough of them. I have most of enough of them. We can cover two sides of this field pretty comprehensively. That should be good to learn. We'll have to go and discuss that soon. Get versed in those mysteries of safety. the beginnings of passive security for further garden. Next year it'll all be better arranged. We'll use like this big open area here as our field. By the standards I've seen discussed elsewhere, 8x8 would be an unreasonably large amount of farm. Making our way along. There, now sheep has more ground to wander around on. House has a roof. That's an innate component of the architecture. So now we fish.
Kutuimmat olestaan liinet nituimmat ole en mennyt liinetin kuhinkalosta mennyt sen kuhinkaloon niin kuhinkalon perästä en kuhinkalon perään. Right, it's not the last step there.
Ooh. Back to slowly accumulating ragged leather.
Tulen sulta sulkemaan panun päätä painamaan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille pallaan ehille tulen tuiki polttamille panun ehkipäästämille.
That'll fuel a sizable bit of the rest of this fence. And as it's getting down around the field, we can start to repurpose that other section. Put another primitive chord. Nearly an hour of work each. And then, yeah, the rest of the hour if I want to then convert it into a snare. I think they pay for themselves. I mean, even our small amount of snares have generated appreciable bird over the past months. So, nettle, sorrel, and yarrow start to be ready for harvest at the end of this month. Once we get into light hay. Good. And looking up further things. You can talk at dogs to actually tell them to do stuff. Like, you know, come over here, go chase a thing. We can name sheep. As proper. Should probably fish again right away. We didn't get a particularly good catch. Yeah, we're getting an okay ratio of decent bits out of our various lumberworks. I wonder if there's much trade value in these. I mean, they're quite heavy, so like their value density is going to be pretty low in terms of carrying capacity. Squirrel has been pretty tolerable so far. It's a fine guest. Squirrel hasn't tried to steal any of our beans.
Tulen sulta sulkemaan panun päätä painamaan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille pallaan hille tulen tuiki polttamille panun ehkipäästämille.
Alright, much better. Also, much like with the field, you can see the char marks there in the fireplace. That's the indicator that it's still warm. So another thing we're going to need when it is time for the harvest yes, we'll have to make ourselves a flail. For which, yeah, one more bird skin will do it. That and a staff, which we can carve from any common small tree.
Iskitulta ilman rinne päällä ytti vain nämmöinen kirjavalla kärmehellä kolmella kokonsolla lapalla kuun kirjokannen päällä tai vahan Eikö sä päällä pysty pelvedellä herrauta sen ennästä?
It'll be worth investigating. We can take a bundle of good steaks into town, see if they trade for anything. What's out here wrestling? Sheep. You be careful, sheep. Alright, let's put in that window. I'll put in the window after these smoked fish are done, just in case that would disrupt the fish process. This is the moment to move this fence. In keeping with earlier statements, we'll take only the worst of these. Let all the regular ones join the experiment.
Beep.
Fencing data. Go ahead and move these. You can operate on the under the hypothesis that any pest animal is going to be too timid to approach sheep. A squirrel would not win a fight with sheep. Squirrels, hares. That's what the snares are for. Birds. Sheep could defeat a bird. But to be sure I don't run this portion off too far. Fencing will continue from the other side. From that line over there. Those serve as a marker. And yes, as far as I know, sheep and other domestic animals are also not subject to aging in current version. Sheep is, and will only meet its end via more usual ways animals end. Sheep cannot withstand wolves or bears or crime. Day-to-day problems, sheep's good for that. Time cannot defeat a sheep. I don't think I need any of this bait that I have laying around. I'll go ahead and disassemble that. Discard, rather. That's the verb to delete an object that you don't need. The fields are the bait. There, that's what I'll do, is a compromise between the old fence and the new fence. Also, that gives me a way to get through the snares without needing to step on them. Just hop the corner fence. Alright, so we have the new field in. We have a healthy supply of snares for bird deterrent. It's a healthy afternoon. Let's do a science. Very quick rest. And a quick snack. Take these over to the Islander village. Also helpful that it means we'll deal with the trading portion of the tutorial. Since that's still bubbling away in the background. Yeah, all the plants here are looking pretty nice. Soon. Hopefully these aren't property of the village. Hopefully these are just wild plants that happen to be near a village. It would be a real shame if running in here meant either needing to pay for any of these that we take in for ourselves, or becoming a criminal. To try to buy something. But what? Do they have any net? A low quality net. Just right for Fjord. How many wooden stakes to take this trash net off your hands? Unworthy inverter. Okay, these are just a non-currency item. How about a roast fish? Alright, we would have to go bring actual money. We can arrange that. Also, all of these can go straight into the fence now that we know they're worthless. Go grab a fistful of arrows. Those should be good to pay for a low quality net. 8 arrows. Not bad. And we get a free axe. Of one of the types of axe that we didn't already have. Hand axe, and there is broad axe as well. I think this one is the okay at all tasks axe, the all-purpose axe. And then each of the others specializes in one sort of wood job. It's a free axe, just to be sure you'd be able to make a boat. The spirits are kind. Move all my arrow making stuff over here into the backyard. Those have remained a very reliable store of value. As long as I can make the cord to tie them together. Then I hope will be a turning point for Fjorg is once we have cloth in any amount. The tutorial, look. Look, I'm doing it. We're boating. Does that suffice? Do they want us to build a new raft? Well, either way, I want to be out here to put down that net. Oh, there we go. That's fish trap. You just lob it in there and wait at least one day, then return, and some amount of fish may be in it. Okay, just returning from raft. There we go. Now, okay, brace yourself. Do you think you can catch a fish?
Tulen suuta sulkemaan panun päätä painamaan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille pallaan ehille tulen tuiki polttamille panun ehkipäästämille.
Alright, so we'll satisfy that when we tear down and reassemble that one wall, which we can go about doing shortly. Or we could build anything else. Go ahead and throw back this bream. Construction! York, do you know anything about architecture? Leave the shovel over here by the garden. Fireplace is still warm. How would I construct? Well, I'd need more logs for one, unless I go about. I could do. It's evening. Right, in the morning we do the renovation. Go ahead and make more cord. Maybe it would go faster if I had one of the specialized crafting knives. Or wait, not utility for this. Weapon. Go ahead and make a couple of arrows out of these. One decent, one rough. Okay, let's remodel this wall. For that, get the carving axe. Though I will need another board. Alright, so we down a large tree for the first time in a while. This one.
Iskitulta ilmarinne päällä ytti Väinämöinen kirjavalla kärmehellä kolmella kokonsolla lapäällä kuuden kirjokannen päällä tai vahan 9 päällä pystyn pilvedöllä rahirauta sen ennästä.
And then splitting axe. Not that great at boards yet. Or the branches on the arrow pile. One awful board to go into our window. Alright, ready to work. Three low stress hours to tear down the wall. more high stress hours to put it back up. Okay, we will have to spend one night with the wall partially disassembled. It happens. Does not seem to have disrupted our smoked fish. Hello, sheep. There. New wall. New window. Yeah, we can monitor the yard from inside the house. Much better. Now we can see all the snares from the comfort of our home. That's all well and good. Here's your new pile of lumber to stare at. Enjoy. That did not resolve the tutorial. Strange. Now, well, I can leave that aside. It would be nice to have that dealt with and off the table, but I can live with it. Let's build more fence. Gonna go ahead and make some more cord. Usual thing to do. We'll probably get a lot of use out of just methodically making a cord a day. Be sure I have them around. Since also with the way the net works, it'll produce like larger numbers of fish of whatever sort it finds. We'll leave it out a bit longer. Six more days. Alright, a fish.
Iskitulta Ilmarin päällä ytti Väinämöinen kirjavalla kärmehellä kolmella konsolalla päällä kuuden kirjokannen päällä tai vahan 9 päällä pystyy pilvedön rahirauta sen ennässä.
I've sort out a sense for how to fit rituals into network. Although, actually, are the birds that we've been catching from time to time carnivorous? Maybe the meat was working as bait for them. Experiments must follow. These various grouses. Let's fell and carve a large tree and see if that satisfies tutorial progress.
tuima tulesta liinet niin tuimalta ole mennyt liinet hinkuhinkalosta mennyt hinkuhinkalohon hinkuhinkalon perästä hinkuhinkalon perään.
Such are the mysteries. Well, that one can be firewood over time. I may have to just construct fresh wool somewhere. Well, the stranger when the boat tutorial. That was fine with me just taking my existing boat out for a ride and then putting it back. All the young trees in view here should be more than enough to close that fence. Alright, that one only took half an hour. A lot of variability on these tasks. Also, per the new plan, I'll go ahead and remove this corner snare here. Migrate that to a different location.
vitulta ilmarinne päällä yttipäinen möinen kirjavalla kärmehellä kolmella konsolalla päällä kuuden kirjokannen päällä taivahan yhdeksän päällä pystyy pilvedellä rahin sen ninnässä.
Takes about as long to ask to take one of these down as it does to do the task.
Tulen suuta sulkemaahan panun päätä painamaahan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille pallaan ehille tulen tuiki polttamille panun ehti päästämille.
That's right, birds. Don't mind me. I'm just over here sharpening wood. Doing as humans do. Okay, so one of each. Bird, are you dead yet? There. A quick stomp. Secure the other one. Tame feathers have no currency value directly, because we get a lot of feather. Got a fair amount of bird meat. Alright. Fresh rations for a bit. Snares continuing to do their work. One of the other tasks to fit into what's left of the summer, since Fjorg now has energy budget and time budget for such things, is to go out into the wilds and dig some pits. Set up some mighty trap holes. Try to catch something big. I really appreciate the consistency with which Fjorg's moments of spiritual revelation line up one for one with passing out from exhaustion after a good day's work. Fjorg is diligent. He finds unity with the cosmos between horrid, gasping breaths. Alright, more scraps of leather. Enough that we could make our flail. Three more days before the smoked fish is ready. Gonna give that fish right back, and this time let us try prayer before setting the net and see if we get better results. And as far as arrow making material, we're actually short on rocks. Rocks and cords. Well, always short on cords. quickly go on a walkabout in the nearby woods. Find some rocks. Or actually, if I'm gonna go looking for rocks, let's just go to the hill over here. This nearby mountain. Yeah, rocks everywhere here. Rocks, stones. Everything you need. There's also pine here, so if we need tar, we can get tar. Alien berry shrub. Is that a general term for mystery berry, or... Oh, and Fjord gained a point of hide working. Good stuff. Okay, yeah, it's berries, but Fjord does not know what those are. Mystery plant. May as well be from space. That's a good supply of rock. And we will know where to go if we need any more of that. We can see sheep on the map. Sheep has grown powerful. Prominent. Sheep operates at strategic levels. Oh, I have to... Alright. I was wondering if I could continue to haul the whole wood pile along with me as I worked on the fence. I do need to put them down to make them targetable for construction effort. That is most of the rest of the fence, though. Just a bit more. This whole corner plot. 12 more. Supposing I don't skim a few more trees out of the way. Only need another 4 slim logs to pay for the rest of the fence. Fine progress. Gonna make more of these into arrows. To do something with our endless feather pile. Remind myself quickly about the quality scale here. Rough is second worst, so rough arrows are not worthless in trade. Rough is half value. We've also passed the midpoint of the year. Countdown to winter is in progress.
Kutuimmat olesta lienet nituimmat ole en mennyt lienet hinkuhinkalosta mennyt hinkuhinkalohon hinkuhinkalon perästä hinkuhinkalon perään.
Alright, there we go. Turning the final corner. Alright, turnips are looking healthy. Also, anywhere that multiple bean are visible here is a good sign, since we only put, like, a single bean into each square of this field. Might consider making a better paddle. Because the paddle can also be used as a bludgeoning weapon. Okay, got a larger fish.
Tulen sulta sulkemaan panun päätä painamaan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille pallaan ehille tulen tulkipolttamille panun ehkipastamille.
Quality of the net and quality of the fishing site may also be at play here. Like if we had some rapids on a river to put our nets into. It's only late evening. The sun has only just gone down. Let's go for another set. Got it. Sleeping in the river. Well, on the lake. The rare sight. Sleeping sheep. We'll roast the pike and the burbot. And I will put these 5 bream on a cord. Get them smoked. Which means I'll have to make a fresh cord to throw them onto. There. Those are the situations where you get to take more advantage. Especially of fish versus other meat sources. Since, like, your animal-derived meats are always measured out in cuts. And so the capacity of one length of cord for preserving is measured in cuts of meat. Whereas for fish, it's measured in individual fish. So a cord of many large fish gets you a lot of material preserved. What a day. Two more fence tiles.
Kutuimatolle liennet nitunnalto lähemmän liennetin kuhinkalosta mennessä kuhinkalohon kuhinkalon perästä kuhinkalon perään.
Alright. And then the rest of this pile goes into making corner posts for the gardens here. Including you two. You don't get to escape. Come on. You have a... well, you won. You have a purpose. So we end up putting back a little bit of this fence. There we go. Fence mostly assembled. The important bits are there. Now let's make that flail. Rough, but usable. Bjorg is equipped. I don't think I need to be brandishing the knife. Well, its various tool uses, it can just pop in by context as needed. But now, though, we have flail. And yeah, I guess take that off to move it over to primary weapon. This is, according to its numbers, a reasonably effective bludgeon. As far as things made of wood. So cord making is something you kind of have to devote a day of whittling to. But it can be done. I think that's something we'll just keep at gradually, economically. Daily fjord shore. Make one length of plant rope. Or otherwise perform the other steps in the process. Leaving the net a little extra time is not a bad thing. If it's left too long, the fish snared into it will have died and rotted. But they can handle for a bit. No. We are that far out of alignment with normal hours. We are vigorous. Night is day. Bjorg is acquainted with the evening. Try to make that better panel. We got all this lumber here. Well, get the good axe for that purpose. Leave. Two cords inside. fish. The others out there. Now then. Immediately decent battle. Very nice. That's worth wielding. Now Fjorg is armed. Fjorg is equipped. Ready for anything. The modern Fjorg. Okay, Ned is going places. Throw one back. Once we're able to get more net, either of our own creation or by purchase from other settlements, that's when you can really scale up fish production. Especially since also, when the winter rolls around, the pond here is going to freeze. But over there, you can see nearby on the map there, that is the sea. And the sea does not freeze in the winter. So if we, like, set up a little shelter out there, shelter or even eventually, like, another cabin or maybe a tent, and build another boat down on the coast, then all times of year Fjord can be out there. That's a nice, short, convenient walk from the cabin here down to the coast. That quest zone remains. We'll never solve that mystery. That spear is gone. Fjord is not a great investigator. Unless you're trying to solve the riddle of where is fish. Fjord will find fish. Good haul. Fishing rod doesn't vary too much. I'll just keep it around. Now that we're through, like, the peak of demands for physical labor. Also, since we're in nice lightweight summer wear, could smoke those 2 trout. Yeah, that sounds wise. In fact, yeah, with the 2 cords here, go ahead and smoke all the big fish out of this hole. All the more reason to be routinely creating cord. The lake freezing over is not a problem for acquiring water. You just punch a hole in the ice and then you drink. It's fine. That's easy. The pond does not solidify entirely, it just gains a nice healthy layer on which to stand. Oh, and our first wave of smoked fish have finished. Nice. Excellent. So where our roasted fish will survive for like a couple of days, smoked meat will last for months. They're not a huge amount of money per fish. Like, I want to say individual smoked other animal meats go to 1/10 of a pound per cut. Yeah, the preservation process, you know, get them all dried out, removing all the excess perishable liquid and whatnot. Yeah, that lines up. Just about. You can think of each 0.1 of fish being one value unit. Bringing along a pocket full of jerky is spare change when you're trading. Grab some more of these to soak. And yes, I did leave some cord here, so we'll make some more arrows. One fine, one rough. Acceptable. We are getting nearer to the harvest time. Within a month, we'll be able to head out there and start gathering all manner of plant. Alright, let me grab my axe and my shovel. Get food in hand. Let's go look for a good trap site. Somewhere away from home. To dig some holes. I feel like we've seen some larger animals around. Fjorg is getting tired. He disagrees with this whole prospect of going out and about. We won't be out long for this excursion, but that's our next thing to do as the fence is built. Fjorg is 31% adept at tracking. Looking for any signs of large animal life. Also, yeah, just to illustrate how close we are to the shore, here it is. There's the ocean. Majestic. Pristine. All these nice rocks down here. On this seaside cliff. Oh. Hey, buddy. Aren't you just exactly what I want to see? Alright. So, from map level. See any tracks. Alright, Fjorg is just bad at this. Still though, good evidence. That is where we'll probe. We've seen signs of large life. Alright, there we go. Some of the branches are ready. We'll go ahead and make that a policy to make at least one primitive cord each day. Just an hour in the morning, or, you know, rhetorical morning with an asterisk. Morning is when Fjorg gets up. Put snares also around the cellar itself. Don't think for a moment that pests won't be smart enough to figure out that the hole in the ground is where the human keeping all the good stuff. I mean, that's what squirrels do on their own. And we can go check our net as well while we're here. Right, I kept the fishing rod just on my person. We can also proceed to active fish.
Iskitulta ilmarinen päällä ytti Väinämöinen kirjavalla kärmeellä kolmella konsolalla päällä kuuden kirjokannen päällä taivahan 9 päällä pystyy pilvedellä raihirauta sen ninnässä.
There we go. Spare change. No. Stove has gone cold. There we go. We're never going to find that spear. It's over. Alright, now, with all that done, which didn't take all that much time. Berg is quite adept at speed fishing. Now, adventure. So we have our shovel, we have our cutting tools, we have snacks. Head back to over here, about somewhere near this shore. Large animal occurred. Now we search for clues. Fresh glutton. Not the target, but it is also good to see. That is adjacent to what we're looking for. Let's see if I can find signs of something larger or more frequent traffic from something of any size. Hmm. On the other hand, we could also go ahead and pick a spot. Placing any trap anywhere creates the odds that something is going to fall in. Wait, here we are. Yes, fresh stag. That's the pay dirt. Yeah, there's more here, more over there. Yes, this is where our stag was. Day old stag. This is the spot. A large lives here, and we will catch it. For the tutorial quests, they're all very finicky to get to happen for the most part, so just keep at it. If you do something that should have met the requirements but didn't, sometimes they're just weird like that. Alright. So, looking for a good spot to dig a hole. Here seems as good as any. You do when you apply a shovel to the ground, you get a pit. Then, as I'll just go ahead and try to get a review of what the bill of materials is. You can take a pit and convert it into a trap by covering it in branches and twigs. Jorg is, of course, a little immobilized from the effort of digging an entire hole. Give him a moment.
Kutuimatulesta lienet nituimalta lehen mennyt lienet hinkuhinkalosta mennyt hinkuhinkaloon hinkuhinkalon perästä hinkuhinkalon perään.
Alright. Very easily, from readily available local materials, we can make ourselves a pit trap. How effective it is at catching things will depend on the trapping skill of your character, of which Fjork's is not great, but it will improve over time. And then we can augment this by placing bait on it if our target is something that would respond to bait, and by surrounding it in fence in order to direct nearby traffic, be more likely to step on the target square. Which I could just as well do with these remaining trunks. Bird watches. You can also augment your pit trap with sharp spikes, where the pit trap that we have there, something will fall in and be stuck there but alive. Which, for most purposes, is helpful, because that means it won't die immediately and start the clock to recover it before it rots. But if it's something dangerous, then that creates a problem, because when you show up to secure the kill and get your loot, you know, it's a bear. A bear in a hole is still a bear. We will be careful. pit with spikes will give you the benefit of wounding and probably killing the animal that falls into it. But then the drawback of you better be checking often, because otherwise you're gonna lose that meat. Also, the skin will be ruined if you have it punctured a whole bunch. Alright. There's a little starter trap. And we can come out to this general vicinity on later days to follow up on this. Start to string out a larger trap fence across this whole area, if it seems to be more of a popular spot. And then also like augment the surrounding area, since we saw birds, so snares would do work out here. And also, if your intended purpose of your traps is like security on your homestead, then by all means put spikes in them. If bandits fall into that pit, you'd rather they be dead right away. Only in the most dire of situations will a character be willing to consider using human meat. This is an actual mechanic. If you are more than a certain percent starved, your character will be willing to butcher a human for human cuts. Interestingly, after the initial butchering is done, there is no longer any prerequisite to be willing to perform cannibalism. Desperation is only necessary to separate the meat from the body. Once that's done, it's meat. Alright, so we've done that. And yeah, there we go. The map will have that helpful icon there to remind you that you put a trap in that spot. And we'll visit every so often to see how it's doing. Fjord. Come on, Fjord. Come on. Come on, buddy. Get home. You're almost there. Just eat your fish. Go see a wise man about our last visions. York is quite pious. He will very quickly make his way through his backlog of spiritual revelations. Oh, we carried all these stakes home left over from the trap fence. Vigorous is the highest level of vigor. Skill goes from vigor to ready to drop. Take a cord. Take today's cord to snare. I'd like the smoked fish to start accumulating. I'm not going to dip into those for our day-to-day food supply. Maybe if we pray before collecting the net. Do the fish exist within the net until we pull it out of the water? AB. So wait. Wow, yeah, that was all volume of sizable fit. Yeah, good. There you go. That's what nets will start to do for us. I'm gonna action fish up some change here, and then we're gonna smoke all of those. Exact change. Thank you, Link. Much appreciated. Although, then we also need short-term food. Alright, back out here. One more run. Okay, I'll smoke one stack and roast the other. That seems a fair compromise. So, alright. So with that productive morning done,
Beep.
head back out there and do a bit more work on the trap fence. Oh, forgot to throw the net back in the... Godspeed, net. You do good work. Go over this inventory, be sure that everything here has something to do. I could take out the specialized axes and go for just the hand axe. Since we're only working with very lightweight stuff out there. Nothing on the trap fence requires an entire log. Flail, axe, knife. Shovel, and launch. Off we go. Now, how close to the trap is it going to put me? On return here. Where was trap fence? It's in here somewhere. If we can find where we set the first trap again. Spend the afternoon digging another hole. We're a bit tired already. Might not be the budget for it. Maybe we just build more fence segment. Georg, where is your trap? Oh, hi there. Hello, elk. Hello, elk. Yes, be on your way. Farewell, elk. Good to know it's still here. Only we brought a gun. Elk, do you know where the trap is? If and when we subdue that, it's going to be a very sizable payout. We can probably make most of our winter clothing out of that elk. And most of our winter meals. Like, Fjorg is going to have real difficulty picking up and hauling all of the material we'll get off the elk back to his house. We may have to bring sheep out here to serve as a tiny mule. Where is Pit Trap? You'd think it would be part of the fast travel, that when you're entering a tile with a point of interest, you'd go there. This feels more familiar, although there's more unexplored tile here, so maybe it's less familiar. Where is Pit Trap? Alright, so, like, the map tile is 50 steps wide. So I am now in, or at least horizontally, in the middle of that tile-ish. Zoom out a little. You misplace a hole in the ground. There it is. Georg.
Tulen sulta sulkemaahan panun päätä painamaahan diskoa vilua vettä paikoille palaa ne hiille tulen tuiki polttamille panun ehti päästämille.
Alright, now how do we kill it? It's a wounded elk in a pit. How slay elk? Okay, it's wounded enough to just a quick bop on the snout with the flail. Yeah, get him, Fjord. Okay. Let's get that skin. Takes 2.5 hours just to skin the elk. £17 of elk skin. It's a good thing we brought snacks, because we're gonna be here for a bit, working on this elk. This is our next day of work. Elk processing. Okay, Fjorg, do you dare to butcher? Do you think you can handle it? Too fatigued, okay. Okay. We can work with this. Like the trap should have disassembled. Okay, I've pulled the elk corpse out of the pit. Reset the pit. And now... Keep a close eye on this thing. Fair point about putting the skin down to help with fatigue while we try to work on the rest of the body. Okay, we managed to get 54 meat in the first pass. That's a start. That's the beginnings. That's like a quarter of the elk. Alright, we need a quick nap. Quick snack. Now we continue. Alright, we've processed the rest of it. For more material than Fjord can carry. Good. This is a start. We'll have to make 2 trips. Okay. Good times abound. Spare a quick gift to the spirits. Really, cannot say enough. What an honor for a mere Fjord to receive such bounty. Rest until not fatigued. Okay, we have some time. Grab as much of this as I can. Alright, that's just slightly too much. 3 pounds of fat! Alright, that is the exact limit. Just drop... say 5 more. That leaves... another 109 pounds of elk meat here for the next trip. Alright, we hike back to the lake. Victorious. Hello, sheep. We did it. We need more rope if we're going to put all of this up for smoking. For now, just drop it here. Well, wait, I have... Yes, I have these leather rope. Very much willing to put that to use. Process the bounty. And then quickly drop off the skin. Avoid dehydrating. Drop the elk fat here on the side of the lake. And back to the pit for the rest. Just barely capable of this if we rest again. Come on, Fjord. Come on, Fjord, you can do it. Believe. Get there, Fjord. Alright, so now... rope, cord, and just go ahead and remind myself of something about the whole preserving process here, because there is a mechanical quirk we can use. We want to use one cord at a time, loading each of them with 19 meat. There's a quirk of the math that if you try to do this in larger batches, you will actually get less meat per cord. Okay, some of these are starting to go stale. And the heat is off. Get that relit. And I will go ahead and roast the ones that have started to go a bit bad. May as well, just short-term food. Will be lost otherwise. We have 99 more of these sitting on the floor. Did I leave any other cord? No, no stray cord there. We'll have to go make more. A bit at a time. Also, go ahead and tan the elk skin. There we go. Unlike the smaller bird skins, this is going to take days at a time to process, or day at a time. Alright, so make a cord, eat a snack. Grab another 19 elk. Put them on the smoker. We're gonna save as much of this as we can. Move this pile of branches closer to the house. And the other one as well. They don't have to be near water now that they're soaked. Throw them down right here. Shut the door. Keep that heat in. Let's go into a food preparation coma. Enter isolation for 10 years to reach the elk level. Nice. Nice. Fortuitous. That elk number. We made it. At the speed of Fjord. "202 cuts of elk meat successfully smoked." What a time to be alive. Also reviewing here, actually smoked is the least durable of the preserved meats. At least without storage or cold temperatures to augment process. The point, we will manage to eat that entire elk over the coming months. Also, that the trap was able to do that, and that Fjorg was able to capitalize on a successful catch, confirms our ability to seize large animals. Well, hello. Bean. Still not ready yet, but look at that bean. Fine, healthy bean. Let's see that. We're ready late at night. What time is it? What year is it? When are Fjorg? Alright, I don't think I need to keep the trap making stuff on hand. The current level of trap has proven quite capable. Put that down. Alright. So with that windfall in mind, yes, I will start eating our preserved food. Food preservation will now be the default. There will be no further need of roast after we're done with these 9 awful emergency elk roasts.
Iskitulta ilmarinne päällä yktipäinen möinen kirjavan lääkärmehellä 3 laakokonsolalla päällä 6 kirjokannen päällä tai vahan 9 päällä pystyy pilvedöllä rahirauta sen ninnässä.
Thanks, Lake. You can keep it. Life is good. That'll be ready late night, and Fjorg is lively. All the meat, smoking. Let's go to town and have that ritual explained. The doors to new rituals, and maybe buy something while we're there. Where's the rest of my arrows? These 22 rough arrows, I can bring them along as change. In fact, I will drop the fine arrows. Those will be saved for murder. When we must fight, we will do so with the finest ammunition. Let's consult the sage. What am I gonna do with all this fat? Big trouble. Is this the moment we can finally afford a cooking pot? That'd also be great. Two-thirds. If we brought the fine arrows or more regular arrows, that would probably do it. Good to know. One of those, we could make soup. That'll be very important for actually taking advantage of the harvest once we have all those vegetables in. Like, especially turnip doesn't yield much of its nutritional value if eaten raw. Wise man. And we are within days of the nettles being ready. We'll do that from the nearby field. Oh, are these just ready to harvest? Okay, those belong to town. Alright, so at least these are property of this village. Probably the other ones are the property of that village as well. At least that only got me a stern talk into. Now, could I buy from you after you harvest? Also, hey, these nettles all the way over here, are these yours? If I show up in a couple of days and just scrape up some of these, is that gonna be a problem? Who knows? It'll be alright. I have no grievance with you. Farewell, noble beast. Don't mind me. Gonna be on my way here. Good to know there's more large animal in the area. That's my like. York's Lake. York's home. York's fence. York's giant pile of preserved meat. Feel unity with the world.